Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today we're doing a day in my life while I go out thrifting. So first thing in the morning I'm taking some non-drowsy gravel, and then I'm also taking these gravel lozenges with me because we have an hour and a half to an hour and 45-minute drive ahead of us, and it's a very windy road, so I get car sick super easy, and this drive is the worst of all for me, so I'm trying to take all the precautions because we have a big day and I don't want to feel sick for it. So the weather is not looking too good, and we're going to an outdoor vintage market first, so I was a little bit concerned that our day might not pan out as we hoped, but it ended up being fine. So we've made it almost to our destination. We decided to go to Subway to get something to eat because we hadn't eaten any breakfast. This is actually the Subway that John used to manage a really long time ago, so it's always weird when we're in there, but we just got some 6-inch veggie subs because we felt like that would be enough for breakfast. I was actually feeling super sick by the time we got there. I was very concerned, so we had to drive another 15 minutes to get to the market. So we decided the market wasn't opening until 9, but we knew it would be really busy, so we decided to just drive right to the market so we could hopefully get some decent-ish parking, and we would just eat the subs in the car while I was in there waiting. I decided to show you money again. I think I showed you this like a few videos ago, but I don't think that I showed you a 10, but this is our 10. It's actually like a vertical bill, which is weird, but I think I've shown you before, but our money is made out of like this plastic material and it's colored, and people find that interesting. So while I was waiting, I thought I would just show you that. And so the market was amazing. I did post a separate video going through the market, but this is also when we realized that they were opening an antique mall. So I'm so excited to go to that. They're having this market again in the fall, I believe, so I'm planning on hopefully being able to go to the market in the fall, and we'll definitely check out the antique mall. I'm so excited. I've dreamed of having an antique mall. I'm saying close to me, even though it's like an hour and 45 minutes away, but anyway, I'm very excited to say the least. So after we got done at the market, we decided to drive by John's parents' old house. They retired and sold their house a few years ago, and this is where John grew up. So we always like to just drive by for old time's sake. The house looks very different, so it was really weird, but I'm not going to show you the house, but the road that they lived on was like a dirt road, and it was always so beautiful, so I wanted to show that. So now we're driving to another town to go to a few shops, and quite a few of you have been mentioning that you like seeing the areas and the neighborhoods. So this town is a very old town. It's like one of the most popular places to visit, I think, in Canada. It's called Lunenburg, but it's a very fun and colorful, like all the buildings are very colorful. They shoot a lot of movies here as well. I think Canada has some type of like tax incentive for filming, so they film a lot of movies here. So a lot of movies and TV shows, like if they're based in the East Coast, in the downtown area of this town, it's all just one-way streets, so you kind of have to figure out where you can turn. See, sometimes you have to go up and down, and then if you miss where if you overshoot it, you have to like backtrack. But we were going to a consignment shop, which is one of my more recent videos I filmed. I just did that as like a separate video in there. I couldn't film all of this and put it in one video, or it'd probably be like 3 hours long, but we were in this consignment shop, which is great. I'll leave all the links to the videos below, but that was my first time in there, and it was really nice. So then we went and parked and figured out where this other store was. So we had to walk a little bit to get to it, but this was the mid-century store that I also filmed the video in, which I am obsessed with the store. If you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's so cool. They had so many cool stuff in there. It was such beautifully set up as well. So I'm very excited to be able to go back there. I think in the fall, I'll probably try to go back when we come back down to this area, but In this town, they have this little tiny Burger King attached to a garage, so we decided to go there and get these really good veggie burgers we've been getting lately. They're called Impossible Whoppers, and we used to, years ago, like when we lived in this area, we would always go and get veggie burgers and then park here by the water and eat in the car here. And so we wanted to do that again just for old time's sake. So these burgers are so good. We only recently just had them, maybe like a month or two ago, but I'm kind of obsessed. So I wanted to get out of the car so I could give you like a better look at, because you can kind of see the town across the water. And this shot is used a lot in, like I was mentioning, in like TV shows and movies. Most, or I don't know if it's the most recent one, but recently, within the past couple of years, they filmed a movie starring Sigourney Weaver in this town. And I don't know, it might be like 4 years ago now. I think it might have been 2019 maybe, but I just recently watched it within the last year. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's called The Good House, if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm pretty sure they had quite a few of those shots, but it's like a very, I don't know, I guess iconic shot of the town. So then I thought I would show you kind of what was behind us as well. It's very pretty, just such a pretty town. So then on our way back to where we were coming from with the vintage market, a lot of people were having yard sales, probably to take advantage of all of the traffic in the area. So we did stop at a few yard sales, and we didn't get anything at this one, but they did have a lot of older looking things. And ironically, as we were leaving, because the woman looked really familiar to us, we realized that it was the owner of a vintage store. We haven't been to it in a long time, like years and years, but we once we got back in the car, we were like, why does she look so familiar? And then we figured out that it was her, and then it made me remember, like, oh, I should go to that store because she moved locations and I haven't been in it since she moved locations. So that would be a fun place to go as well, and that's located in the town that I just showed you. So we made it back, and this red building here is actually where we used to live a long time ago, a little tiny apartment. So I just wanted to get a shot of that, I guess. But then right across the road, there was quite a few yard sales, again, just to take advantage, I think, of all of the traffic that was coming in for the vintage market. So I don't think we bought anything here either, but it was fun to look at this stuff. I felt like it was an eclectic mix of different things from different eras here. And then I noticed these little chef guys that hold utensils, and my grandma had one of these when I was a kid, like in the 80s, in her kitchen. It's the first time I think I'm seeing one exactly like the one that she had. since I was a kid. I think I've seen something similar in a thrift store, but it wasn't quite the same thing. But that one was actually the identical one. I love these bowls. I see them all the time, but I just can't find a use or a place for one, so I never pick them up. But I think they're really beautiful. I was briefly considering getting those wooden utensils that you hang on the wall because I feel like they would really go in my 70s kitchen, but I decided to pass because I wasn't sure if I had a spot for them. I don't actually have a lot of wall space in my kitchen, so, but I don't know. I'm thinking about filming like an updated kitchen tour sometime soon because I'm planning on doing a little makeover in there, and I thought that would be fun. So this is kind of like the little kind of corner of where we used to live. So I think in my last video I talked about these storefronts like from the 50s that had been empty. Well, the pinkish one there actually has a store in it, and then we came up to this one across the road from it, and that one also has a store in it now, which we were really excited about, just seeing things come back. And I did end up filming in this store, which I was going to include in this video, but it ended up being a lot of footage, so I did put that in a separate video as well, and it was really cute inside. It had a lot of vintage things too. And then right here on the corner, there was more people set up. They actually used to do this a lot, but there would be a lot more people here. This is actually where I found a lot of vintage things. But there was only a couple of people set up today. They seem to be like very niche type things. Like this person, they had a lot of old tools. I would say that's like mostly what they had, which I'm not really interested in, but I'm sure that that's quite a collectible thing for some people. And then there was another woman set up. She had a lot of, I guess she had a lot of miscellaneous things, but she also had a lot of shoes. That's what I'm remembering. I think she had an entire table filled with different shoes, but she also had these pictures. I kind of wish I would have gotten this one as well, but I did end up getting one that I showed in my haul video from this day. But the woman actually told me that the lady who did these, who made them, was actually legally blind, which I thought was really interesting because it's quite intricate to do these things, and they both looked so beautiful. But this is the one that I did end up getting, and I love it. It's very like fall vibes with the pumpkin and stuff, and it really fits in with the color scheme of my house. And this actually was taking place in the parking lot of this corner store, which we would go to all the time, but also since John lived in this area, like he's been going there since he was a little kid. And then right across from our apartment is actually this house, and this house is owned by the man who owns the antique store that is in the old church that I filmed a couple of months ago. And so that's what we were talking about with the guy, because John obviously grew up in this area. So he was saying, oh yeah, I own this house. And we're like, oh, we used to live across the street from it. So John pointed out, oh, that's the house. So then after that, we drove back into another town to go sourcing for clothing. This is like the main chain of stores we use, called Frenchies. It's really good prices. We find a lot of stuff that we flip for a lot of money. So that is what we decided to do while we were in the area. Kind of have almost like a formula of what we do. Like we do the exact same thing every time. John goes to the exact same area and I go to the exact same area and start. So it's very, we can actually do it pretty quickly. We usually go through pretty much every article of clothing in the store, but it goes pretty quick because we have kind of a routine down. But then we decided to go to Value Village while we were in the area. We don't have one like super close to us, so whenever we're near one, we like to go in. So I did film quite a bit in here. I always look at the cookbooks, even though I'm trying not to really buy any, but that Kellogg's cookbook looked super cute. And then I saw this Wilton like beginner's guide. I almost got this, but when I was flipping through it, I was like, no, you don't need this. So I did end up putting it back. But part of me wishes that I got the Kellogg's one, I'm not gonna lie. So that's what I hate about, I like filming these videos, but sometimes I hate watching the footage back because I'll always see things and think, oh, why didn't I get that? Or sometimes I see things that I didn't notice while I was there in person filming. I'll be like, oh, I would have got that if I would have noticed it. So I don't do it every time, but I usually like to take a scan of like the children's books, because sometimes certain like Babysitter Club books or Goosebumps books can be worth money, so sometimes we flip those. But I feel like it's getting harder and harder to find them, maybe because people know that they can sell them online, make money. I always like looking at the furniture area in Value Village as well. Sometimes you can see some really cool vintage pieces. I don't feel like I saw any on this day, not that I can remember anyway. And then they always have a big lighting section in Value Village, which I love. I'm looking for a specific kind of lampshade, so I've been on the hunt for that for a while. I'm really hoping that I find what I'm looking for. I just recently got this really old vintage lamp, so I did end up getting this lampshade for something else, but it's not exactly what I wanted. But hopefully, since we're out thrifting a lot, I will come across that soon. And then I spotted this shade, and I wish that I would have got this now, especially looking at it. I really want to replace all the more modern ceiling lights in our home, and that would have been perfect, but I don't know. And then another Premium Plus tin. On this day, I swear, I think I seen like 5 or 6 total in all of these different areas. It's so weird because I don't remember seeing them really ever before that, but I don't know, it's one of those things, like, I think where like you buy a certain type of car and then suddenly you see that car everywhere. I think I might have even said that before. And speaking of that, then out of the corner of my eye, I noticed another one of those plates that I've been seeing everywhere, with like the churches or schools or whatever on them. And again, I think I seen them at 3 or 4 different places on this day, which is weird because other than the time I saw one and bought it, I had never seen them before, and now I see them all the time. I thought I was filming like more of this. I didn't realize it was cut off as much as it is, but they had this decorative tin here that I thought was kind of nice. They had a few more too. They had this really neat one that was like back here. It was like a piggy bank, but it's made to look like an old post office, I guess. I saw this Disney plate thing, like tin, that I did end up picking up to resell. I was surprised that it was only $2. I expected it to be like $7 or $8, which I wouldn't have picked it up, but only $2 I felt like was a good deal. Then they had a few Quality Street chocolate tins. Those always remind me like so much of Christmas. I'm pretty sure they have those in the UK. That might even be where they originated from, but I don't know if they have them in other countries either. But it's like a big staple Christmas thing in Canada, at least. I'm always hopeful they will eventually come out with like a dark chocolate, dairy-free, vegan version at some point because I do miss getting them. And I saw this wooden leaf bowl, which I thought was really cute. Definitely my style, but again, I didn't really need it. I actually love looking at all like the wooden pieces. It's one of my favorite areas to go to. And then I did end up seeing something, I believe, on this day that I wish I would have got, thinking back to it. Yes, here it is. This I think is so cute. It wasn't that expensive either. You like hang it on the wall and then you can keep like your sewing things in it. Ugh, I wish I would have got this. I could have put it like in my craft room. But I don't know why I was like hesitating to get it, but I did. Or maybe I thought maybe I'd think about it and come back to it, but I should never do that because I always end up forgetting about the things until I'm watching the footage. I really, really liked this tray, and it's very close to something that I'm looking for. So I was debating it and thinking about it, and then when I flipped it over and saw the price, that deterred me. But now thinking back on it, like it is kind of exactly what I was looking for, and the wood tone matches the wood that I was looking to like put it on, and I'm having a slight regret about that, but I just felt like in the moment that was too much money. But now I'm like, well, it was perfect, so why wouldn't you just buy it? I don't know. It's like, what are the chances of me finding something like that again? Probably pretty slim. I like that they have Christmas stuff out like all year round, but I find lately, the past like maybe 2 or 3 years, I find it really, really difficult to find vintage Christmas stuff. It all just looks very 90s, 2000s to me, which is definitely not my style. But I don't know. Compared to, say, 5 or 6 years ago, I feel like I used to find so much stuff so easily. I also loved that soup mug, and I kind of wish that I would have got that too. I think that's probably something I will see again, and so I think if I see it again, I will pick it up for sure. I always see this pattern of like Pyrex Corel, but I don't actually know what the name of it is. Yeah, I don't know. I always like think I should look it up, but I just never think of it until I see it again. Love these little mug walls that they have too. Sometimes you can find some really neat mugs on there, but sometimes I find the prices are a little insane on them too, so I don't know. Speaking of mug prices being insane, I didn't notice this at the time, at least I don't think, but do you see the $7.99 on this D handle Pyrex mug? Like that is crazy. So I saw some Corel, I think this like woodland pattern. I saw this pattern. I'm not sure if I've seen this one before or not, but it looks very 90s to me. And then I spotted this leaf dish, which I did end up getting. I showed that in my haul. Is kind of pricey, but I did have a matching one already, so that's kind of sealed the deal for me. Had I just seen the price and not had a matching one, I might have passed on it, but I am happy I got it too because it's I like the pattern and the style very much fits in with my style, so I was happy to find that. So then I noticed some corningware, kind of saucepans, I think they're called. They did have a Spice of Life one, which I believe I already have that one. But then they had this other pattern, which I believe we determined the name of in another video. But if we did, I don't remember the name of it. But I do think it's really pretty. But I just collect Spice of Life. But I kind of stopped collecting because I feel like I have enough. Like the space that I keep it in is full, so that's kind of my indicator that I don't need any more But if I found some rare piece or something that I didn't already have, then maybe I would get it. But it was weird. A lot of them were like the exact same size, but had different prices on them. So someone different must have been pricing all of them. And I don't actually have that bigger one down there of Spice of Life, but like I said, I don't really have room for it. So decided to pass. I saw an old toaster oven. These are like one of my favorite appliances to see, just old toaster ovens from like the 70s and 80s. I love my toaster oven that I have currently though, so I don't want to get another one. I'm not sure when mine's from, but it's Betty Crocker. I'm sure you've seen it if you've seen my kitchen tour. This pan looked very 70s, maybe early 80s to me, and it looks like it was probably never used since it still had the sticker on the top of it. I don't imagine you'd want to leave that on while you were cooking, but I just thought it was neat that it was apparently unused. And then I saw these embroidered pillowcase set in the box for $20. At the thrift store I used to work at, we actually had, I think it was a different pattern, but it was the same type of thing in a box like this. I think we sold it for $20 as well, but that was quite a few years ago, but so beautiful, but I don't have any use for it. $20 is a little expensive for like reselling. So then recently, within the last couple of years, they've put these little Starbucks kiosks in some grocery stores. So they had one in this town. So we decided to go there and get some Starbucks because we don't have it near us. So like we really only go like maybe 5 times a year. But it's super cute in there. We decided to get this oat, like shaken oat espresso brown sugar thing, and it was so good. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm trying to like recreate it at home. But we're going to be near a Starbucks tomorrow, so I think I'm gonna get one again tomorrow. But we also get these dark chocolate peanut butter cups. They're like my favorite. And then while we were like in the car in the parking lot about to leave, we ran into one of our best friends. I haven't seen him in years and years and years, so it was really nice. We didn't have time to really like hang out or anything, but it was just nice to see him and say hi and everything. So then we started on our way home after a very long day, and luckily it did not rain the entire time, but it was looking like it could storm at any moment. So I wanted to just show you. It's like a super pretty drive, but it's very windy road, which is why I get so sick. So it's my least favorite place to go because the journey just makes me so sick on the way there and back. But I wanted to show you there is this massive bald eagle's nest. I had to like slow down the footage and stuff, but I've only ever seen the eagle one time, but I always like look for the nest when we're driving by. So then right before we went home, we stopped to get some produce at the grocery store. It's like this super tiny little grocery store, but I did find some Brussels sprouts 50% off, which was very excited about. I love fresh Brussels sprouts roasted in the oven. They're like my favorite thing. So this big bag is normally like $12.99. I think it was 50% off. So I got those. I didn't end up cooking them that day, but I cooked them the next day. So I really wanted something like a salad or something because we had eaten the burger earlier. So just looked around there for a little. And then as soon as we get home, I have to check on my little baby. I feel so bad when she's home by herself because for years it was her and her sister, but her sister died a couple of years ago, so now she's really home alone. But even though she's probably fine because she probably sleeps the whole time, but I just feel bad for her because she's all alone. So I had to get some time in with Marley. And then as soon as we got home, we had bought this chair from Facebook Marketplace. I am obsessed with it. So they were like, oh, we can come and deliver it. We paid them like an extra money just to come and deliver it. I think it was like an extra $10 or something. So I think we got the chair for $30 plus the 10, or maybe 40 plus 10. Anyway, I thought it was a great deal. The chair is in such great condition. And so as soon as Marley came downstairs, she noticed the chair and she just jumped right up in it and started rolling around in it. So she approves. And it's actually funny because Marley is basically the only person that's been using the chair like every day. That we have another one that John sits in all the time, and she sits in that one next to him, and it's so cute. But she really liked it, but it was in really great shape. So then after she calmed down a little, we had some cuddles on the couch, which she loved. Then she had her supper, which she also loved. And so we decided that we weren't actually hungry enough to have a supper meal. And it was pretty late and we were really tired. So we did find these plant-based drumsticks in the grocery store as well. So we did decide to get those. It did start raining as well. Like as soon as they got the chair in the house, it started downpouring. So that was perfect timing. So then I just came upstairs to change into my pajamas to get in bed. And this is where Marley sleeps a lot of the time, on this pink blanket in my like office / craft room. So she was getting ready to go to sleep there, but now she's been sleeping every night on that new chair. I put a blanket on it for her, and that's where she is all the time. So it's cute. So I had thrifted this magazine, this Mediterranean diet magazine, which I've been really wanting to do a Mediterranean diet, like a plant-based version of it. Because it's supposedly like the healthiest diet, but it fits in with like how I like to eat anyway. So I was just flipping through that. I like to look at magazines in the evening versus like being on my phone. I have this huge stack on my, I need to like get caught up a little bit, but I have this huge stack of magazines on my nightstand. But I was looking through this while John was in the shower, and a lot of the recipes look really good, and I feel like I could easily make them plant-based. So Marley decided to grace us with her presence, probably because we were gone all day, so she wanted to have a little bit of cuddle time on the bed before she went to bed. So she was up there hanging out with me while I was waiting for John. So once John got out of the shower, he brought up drumsticks for us to eat while we were watching season 3 of The Mandalorian, and we were joking because he didn't do it on purpose, but John was wearing Mandalorian pajama pants and a Mandalorian t-shirt, but he didn't do it on purpose, so it was just funny that he happened to grab those things as we were watching The Mandalorian, so we thought that was funny. Anyway, that is it for our day in the life. It was really early. I don't even think it was 8 o'clock, but we were already in bed. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again really soon.